UPS is
Okay,
really slow during this COVID, Andrew. Otherwise,
we
you
are we are live. Welcome everybody to tonight's BBR episode number 61. James will argue about that because there's been a couple fillers, but we are on episode 61 recording. Welcome to tonight's meeting. Tonight's meeting is going to be Open Mic Monday. We're going to talk a little bit about where we are today in the COVID crisis. And I know it's been overplayed, but what I'd like to bring to the table tonight, if everybody allows me, is to talk about not giving up. A lot of salon owners are throwing in the towel right now. I personally know I've had some coaching clients that said, I've had enough. I'm just going to do a yard sale on my salon and I'm not going to do this anymore. And so what I'd like to talk about, and I'm sure James and Andrew would like to talk about, is the reason you shouldn't give up is because of all the people that are going to give up. You're going to come out of this, if you make it through it and you're a strong survivor, you're going to come out of this as top salon in your area if you do all the things we've been teaching all along. So I think it's important that we talk about this tonight, and I think it's important that we share some of the reasons why you should be in this position. Okay, with that, I'm going to open the mic to, first we'll go to Andrew, if you want to talk a little bit about it.
Sure, I will talk a little bit about it. Look, the reality is that it's supply and demand. We've talked about this before. People are still getting their hair done. I mean, I'm talking, I was just on the phone with someone who told me today, because New York City is really, look, every place is hard. Every place is hard. Business is hard. I wear this hat specifically because it's about that, to honor the struggle. But the reality is that there's business out there to be had. It is just a question of getting it. It's a question of having the fortitude, the courage to stick with your dream, stick with your vision, honor it, bring your people on board. Yeah, it is hard. It's a hard patch. If you give up, then what? Then what?
Yeah, so Lara just posted, Andrew, Lara just posted, I'm feeling that way too. And Lara, I'm sure 90% of salon owners are feeling that way right now. But what I would say to that, and of course, James and Andrew, you can comment to this, is there's reasons you don't do it. If you've made it this far into this crisis, you're a survivor already, right? You may have shell shock. It's like being in the military, you got shell shock a little bit. But, we were joking earlier about embrace the suck. And what that means basically in the military is, you know what? Days are going to suck right now, but you've got to find your escape from it and push through it. And those who can push through this right now will do so much better than those who can't. I mean, look, there's going to be salons folding. Where are those clients going? They've got to find a new salon. They've got to find a new home. So all these things we've been teaching, marketing, doing this, that, during this crisis, now is your time. I was on a phone call today with Nicole from Envy, and she filled her salon instantly with new stylists. And she had it turned off, and she said to me, you know what, I'm going to turn my Indeed back on. And as soon as she turned it back on, she had a ton of applications for filling even more chairs. So right now, one thing you have to understand as a salon owner, there are so many stylists out there. And my suggestion to you would be, it's kind of a funny thing we said in the Marines, it was called stack the bodies. So you fill with bodies and then you get them out of the way, and you bring more bodies in and get them out of the way. And basically you find your ideal crew by doing that. Now is your time to shine with regard to two things: getting new clients and getting new stylists. If you're on your game right now, I promise you won't fail. You have to have fortitude for it, no doubt about it. And you better be strong right now. You better take all those lessons you've learned up to today to have that power to push forward.
And I think the thing too, everybody needs to realize is this is not permanent. So I know we always have been joking the new normal, which is, we didn't coin that phrase, which thank God, because I hate it. But this isn't permanent. So I hope that the reflection period of however long you were closed, you got to look back at your numbers. And I know the problem that I had from the beginning was, I wish I knew it was going to be 4 months, because I may have done those 4 months differently than we did. Not that we wouldn't have done our, daily BBR calls for 30 days of crazy and everything else. But I hope you guys looked at your numbers and sort of had a little reflection into what your business and what changes you could make. But none of this is permanent. My hope is that what we've changed so far, whatever things that our states mandated to change and things that were implemented, that the good stuff we keep. The great example, the plus ones, right? Client comes in, it's a busy Saturday, and they bring their kids, or they bring their mother that sits on the couch and takes up space and eats all the cookies you have and touches all the magazines and all that stuff. So little things like that sort of change the experience for the clients that are actually paying clients. I hope that never goes back. It's a hard thing to say from the front desk, like, hey, don't bring your mom here. Why is she touching all the magazines? Like, it's one cookie per customer. She just had 16 of them, and we're paying our local baker $40 a week to make those cookies, and she ate the whole week's worth in one sitting, and she's not a paying customer. But you hope that the reflection period is that this is not going to be permanent. This is going to go away. Is it going to go away by the end of the year? I wish. I don't think so. Is it going to happen into next year? Probably. But that gives you now next month, the month after, and the whole fourth quarter to sort of continue that reflection period. Get your numbers straight, man. Spend some time, like, get your retail, get your inventory, whatever software you use. We're software agnostic. We love everybody. Start using something like Salon Ninja to do your text messaging with clients. I haven't picked up the phone. We're 8 weeks. I haven't picked up the phone except maybe 4 times, where I have some seniors that don't do texting, but I don't pick up the phone at all anymore. I'm like, hey, I can text you. Why do I have to talk to you? Like, it's great. And they don't realize I'm having 12 conversations at the same time. So things like that have made my front desk area so much easier for me, that I've been able to do other things, other projects we wanted to implement, other creative things that we've been talking about for 8 years. It's always the to-do list, right? That's 8 years and you never do it. Well, use it to your advantage.
Yeah. This is really about courage. And this is about being in touch with ourselves and our awareness that sometimes, we're fearful. We know this. And how we face that fear. And there's only 3 kinds of fears, folks. Loss pain, they all, a pain of process, or a pain, outcome pain, like the loss one. We fear we're going to lose something. Well, if you, what are you going to lose? What are you going to lose, really? Okay.
I would say, Andrew, Neil wrote a good blog this morning, Neil Dukoff over at Strategies, and I was surprised. And no, we're not knocking him off or copying him. We had this plan to talk about this, but he actually said a Marine term, and he used part of it, which he said adapt and overcome. It's actually, the full term is improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Yep.
Right now we're improvising, right? We're doing everything we can do in this craziness. Then we adapt to this craziness. In other words, embrace this suckiness, right? Embrace the suck. And then we overcome it. And why do we overcome it? Because there will be light at the end of the tunnel, as James said. This will end. And those who have stuck to the game plan, followed their numbers, all the things James talked about, Andrew talked about, are going to come out of this like the bomb. They're going to wreck everybody that's just jumping in, because you're going to be the king or queen in your area. And that's just a simple fact. All these BBRs we've been doing now for, I don't know how many months it is now. There are so many lessons in here that you could have learned how to do all these things we're talking about tonight. Take the time, take the education. Whenever you're feeling down, look at a past video of something that's going to motivate you, whether it's retail sales, how to deal with employees, how to raise your prices, all those things, know your numbers. They're all super important. And you got to get back to the basics, and not the basics that you learn by the hamster wheel of doing what others have done. You got to get back to the basics of really what makes a business succeed. And then you have to have the mental fortitude, which Andrew talked about, to get through this, right? You're in the trenches right now. It's a war zone. And you know, it's no different than, well, it is a little bit different, but the bullets are flying right now, right? And you've got to get through it. You just got to get through it. And when you push yourself mentally through it and you push your team through it and keep them standing tall, you're just going to be the ones that outshine everybody.
Well, Derek, you're going to be impressed with me about saying this. I was on a webinar and there was a Marine, and he did talk about the improvise, adapt, and he also said, you know, when you go into a fight, expect to be cut, because if you get surprised by the cut, they're going to get you right here. So, guys, let's expect that adversity here. Expect the roller coaster ride. That's it. But you're not going to lose.
You know, Andrew, you know, to put it in a real life analogy, for any of you that weren't in the military, if you watch the newest Rocky, right, he talks about how tough you are. It's not about how tough you are beating people up. It's how many times you can get knocked on your ass and get back up. Okay. And right now we're getting knocked on our ass, and we all have to get back up each time that happens and get it done every day. Because why? Because we have things that depend on us. You have family, you have employees that depend on you to get it up and get it done every single freaking day.
And even more than that, you have your dream. You have your dream. Don't let other people's agendas here, not here, but out there, the controllers, the state board, the governors, smash that dream. They
Put the
do not,
blinders on and
they
knock
do
down
not
the
have
wall.
the power to do that.
Well, I
They do
think
not
too-
have the power to do that.
Well,
The only one who's going to do that to you is you.
When I think a lot of salon owners prior to all of this, you know, obviously your job is to cater to the clients, and you know, you want to make sure that their color, their cut, their nails, everything looks great. But you know, you sort of start to deviate where everything is so individualized to that client, and you're not bringing them back to what your original salon mission or message, or like Andrew had done. You know, it's a one-page business plan. That's the shortest business plan I've seen in my entire life. If you saw the one we set up with, it was like a Bible. Only the Old Testament, though, not the New Testament. But we're old school at the Beehive. But they, you know, you get into those things where you let everything dictate everything else that happens, and hopefully some of these parameters and protocols you're able to reel back clients. And I'll give you an example. You know, we're struggling here in New Jersey because we don't have any clear guidance on back to school. And our staff, one of the reasons why my wife wanted to create our type of salon was she wanted a safe space for moms to be able to work and be able to go to the school play and still have flexibility. And, you know, we were over, you know, the 40-hour work week type thing, or what do they call it, Andrew? It's the 30-hour work week or 28-hour work week. We've always worked smarter than harder, right? And that was sort of our foundation. And, you know, you have clients now with the pushback that, hey, I can't book your October appointment because we don't even have guidance from the middle school if our kids are going to be in Mondays, Thursdays, Wednesdays, Fridays. We have no idea. And some of them are like, well, you know, that stylist doesn't have any kids. And I said, I know, but we're split shifted in 2 teams. So maybe you need to understand a little more about the global aspect of what our salon does. I know you may not have gotten all the really cool charity things that we've done in the past, or the really cool initiatives we put together, or the really cool things we've done hair-wise, whether with Intercoiffure or Worldwide Hair Tour. But now you have to understand, now there's protocols in place for the health crisis. So shut up and wait for us to let you know what the staff schedule is going to be like in October, because you are not the most important cog in this wheel right now. It's a collective, it's a global thing.
James, isn't it funny how the perspective is, we used to think the clients were hard, right? As owners, we thought the clients were hard, and they you know, they are. They're a pain in the ass sometimes. And look, this is salon owners talking, so hopefully there are no clients hear this. But they could be a pain in the ass, and we need to know when to divorce them, blah, blah, blah. The clients are easy right now compared to running the business. Right now, the business is the hard part, right? So the perspective has changed now because the business used to be, it was always a little bit hard, but now it's become front and center, right? Big time. So Cindy, one of my coaching clients, just made a comment on Facebook. I kind of love it, and I'm going to share it, Cindy. I hope you don't mind. She said the discomfort, it's a sign, it's a time to grow up, grow up and level up, shift towards something bigger, lean the fuck in. And I love that, Cindy, right? So, and she's right. Lean into it. Embrace the suck. Push forward. Knock down the walls. Break the barriers. Whatever you want to call it. You know, all of you who listen to these motivational coaches, you've heard all these things before. Now is the time to actually do them. Don't just listen. Do them. You have the knowledge. We're giving you this free knowledge on BBR all the time on how to actually perform these actions, but it's up to you to mentally do it. You know, if you're afraid and you're cowering from this, it's time to revisit your psyche and say, am I going to be that person who curls up on the couch, or am I going to be that person who knocks down the barriers, kicks down the walls, and kicks ass? Period. That's all. You only have two choices, one or the other: lay down and die or succeed.
Well, listen, the hurricane that just came through, which I always butcher the name, Isaias, what was it? What was the one?
I can't even say it. I want to say it's something like that, Isaias, right?
Yeah. So, we had a lot of tree limbs come down, and there were some power outages and things. But the bigger issue, because everybody's working from home, was the internet was out. So some people it was a day, some people 2 or 3 days, and they're all over these local groups like, oh my God, I'm going to switch from Cablevision to Fios and Fios to Cablevision, and they're raking all these cable companies and internet companies over the coals. And I said, wow, it's really interesting because your local hair salon was closed for 4 months in New Jersey. How bad did you want a haircut? And what are you talking about respect for us? I'm going to call Verizon, and I'm going to tell them I'm not going to pay the bill because my internet was out for 2 days. It's like, oh, really? Give a little respect back to the people in the hair industry and take a little bit of that control back. And, use these protocols and policies as a lean in, right? Like Cindy said, to kind of make reinvent what you wanted to do. There's probably things that you all wanted to implement and wanted to do, whether it was in retail sales or anything more interesting like education. Use it to your advantage. Hey, listen, you're taking 25% capacity where we are, which is, it kind of equates to about half the amount of clients. So there's plenty of time. Your stylists go outside and have to take their masks off in the outdoor break room. Like, why are you not on Sally Rogerson or Free Salon Education or Philip Wilson or all these awesome people that have done tech education for free?
Yeah.
Hey,
listen,
inventing too.
James, and and my numbers might be off right now, but and chime in. I want the group to chime in on this. The average visit used to be about every 6 weeks. I'm tending to see now that I'm coaching about every 10 weeks. Okay. So with that in mind, you got color clients pushing off 10 weeks. I got to say, and I said this a couple BBRs ago, why are you not modeling Madison Reed's system right now? You're not going to lose your clients. You're going to service your clients at home, give them a color kit, and make them happy in between the visits. And you'll make an extra couple dimes in between they get back into the salon for their haircut and their color. Everybody that's not doing that is missing the opportunity right now. I would talk to whoever your supplier is, and I would jump all over that. Look at Madison Reed's website. You don't have to copy them exactly. Obviously, it's the same as cutting hair, right? When you learn a haircut, you make it your own. You use part of it. So look at their website and see what they're doing, and then make it part of your routine. Because guys, they're making millions of dollars every day now based on COVID. And guess where those clients are coming from? They're coming from salons. So get on board, learn new ways to increase. So Cindy, the one that just made the comment, we had a conversation today, and she said, what are the other options to aside from salon services to keep revenue going? Okay. Look at other avenues, hair related or spa related, that are generating revenue that aren't actually touching the client, and model them and make them your own.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think, when we talk about retail as something that, retail should be a foundation. I don't even think it's something that should be money generating, even though it will be ultimately. It's really part of the stylist job as part of completing that service. But, you know, the add-ons are a whole nother thing. You know, you had clients that came back from COVID that, you know, did self-cut bangs at home, that did home hair color, that did nothing, that didn't do their hair at all, that, you know, there's just so many factors in it that little bit of TLC, those add-on services really suffer. I mean, I know retail for a lot of the salons that I work with and coach has suffered humongously, but it's the add-on service. All of that starts with the consultation. So maybe you need to reflect back to, and not just to say, hey, I know we have to clean the bathroom every single time a client has to use it in between services, and all the parameters are there, but hopefully your radar and your little antennas are up, and that's sort of getting you more into a process to say, well, what are we doing about the consultation? Like, why are we, you know, we were so worried in the beginning about the consultation with the mask on, and what does that look like? I can't see your face. You know, if you feel like you're playing poker, right? You got to look at their eyes. Was one eyebrow up or down?
Yeah.
And
You know, we
I
have a
would
lot
say-
of people on the line. I'd like to hear about some wins that you all have had, because undoubtedly, I mean, we're the last people standing, folks. You've had to have some wins. Tell us what's
Oh yeah.
okay. Who can share out there?
On Facebook Live, and on our Zoom Live. Please post up your comments. Talk to us about some of your wins. Like Cindy Quinn just said, virtual consultations, brilliant. You know, using Zoom to do your consultations, so you're not hiding behind a mask. Get them done ahead of time, save time. So when they're in the salon, you have their notes ready to go. Boom, bang, boom.
yeah, and I think the planning too for us has been a big thing. You know,
Mhm.
they always saw, everybody uses software. Who cares which kind? So the stylist can see their schedule the day before or the week before, depending on how far out they're booked. But it's about having that active plan. So, you know, you owners that are out there, part of what your staff training should be is when your stylist shows up, you know, you open at 10, they show up at 9:50, you know, their hair is still half wet because they ran out of the house. They don't have any makeup on. They're trying to scramble for that last 10 minutes, which is on your dime, by the way, which is a whole different BBR call. And they're not prepared. They don't even know who's in their book. They open the software and like, oh shit, I said Mary was going to get a spot highlight and I was going to fill it in. And, you know, it's that preparedness that they should have those service tickets or that mentality ready for that day, just like every other business on the face of the earth. They know what they're going to do when they walk in the door. They have a plan. I don't care if you're dialing for dollars. I don't care what kind of business you're in. You're a telemarketer. Telemarketers have a plan. And you go to the beauty industry and you have all these experts with all this training, and they walk in the door like they staggered in off the street after drinking all night and they have no idea what their day is. And now they have 4 clients. You have 4 clients. You should be able to paint pictures of those 4 clients before they come in and say, oh, I was in between when I took my mask off. I
So
decided
James, we have a whole bunch of wins coming in
Okay, let's
on
hear it.
Facebook Live. Let's go through some of them. Let me just back up here because there's a lot of them coming in.
Good.
Let's see. Jackie Doherty said July was like her December. The numbers were great.
Fantastic.
Tracy Brenner said, I acquired several new clients due to local stylists retiring and recommending me. That's happening a lot. A lot of stylists are getting out of the business right now, and those clients need somewhere to go. Fantastic. Conchetta said, we've been doing all the things that we're talking about. Heather Florman said, our win, we are back and full and healthy, following the rules. Beautiful. Candace said, we have gained 45 new clients at our barbershop last month from other shops because we don't force them to wear a mask. It's fine if that's your area. Tracy, I've also decided to retail some new products. That's going great. Dawn Marie, I've had more new clients since May than I had in January through March. Bethany, oh wow, Bethany, our win, over 600 client visits with no clients or staff with COVID. Love it.
Yeah, fantastic.
Vanessa, 140 new guests, 3,400 clients, no COVID. I mean, they're just rolling in. Randy said he lost 2 stylists and having new business with no advertising. That's great. My numbers, Ronnie said, my numbers have been $1,000 a week. That's good. Your wife chimed in. I think the clear communication to our clients and protocols have been put in place for them, and the team has been, I got to read the whole thing. The team has been great, letting them know how far we went in terms of planning for them. So that's James' wife chiming in. So we got a lot of good stuff going on. And you know what?
Denise B, we had a very big week this past week. We turned away about 15 people. We
Yeah.
are a luxury barber shop. We do mainly cuts. We keep getting new customers constantly. We have stayed late to accommodate many times. And I love this. Anne says, I have a stylist who broke up with their boyfriend who helped pay one half of the bills. And no, it's like the salon is the enemy taking her money, or she's not making enough money, and lots of attitude. So the win was that she had her best month ever in 5 years. In 5 years. But now we're
so again,
and now as an owner,
survivors, right? Survivors. The survivors are winning. Keep winning, everybody. We love to hear this stuff. Anybody else want to share their stuff? It's great. I'm so thrilled with all of you who are watching this right now. Just by being on tonight, I know you're a survivor, and I know you'll succeed.
yeah, clients thanking us for making sure they are safe. Stylists thanking me for making sure they have a job. It has been humbling. That's what it's about, Missy. That's great.
This is a funny one. Brittany said on Facebook Live, I admit I'm not sure of our new client numbers right now, but I feel like we're going to break the ninja system with new client entries. They're killing it over there. They really are. Thanks for that, Bethany.
And I would say to you guys, like in the Salon Owners Mastermind group, post those up. I know a lot of people have questions about things, and if you're on some of the other groups like I am, I mean, I have to debate whether I want to get off of them or if I'm just sitting there eating my popcorn, watching some of the comments that come in. But, post some of those wins up. It's meant for an owners group. Like if there's some things that you're struggling with the pandemic or the after pandemic, post that too, but be specific. I think sometimes the questions and things that are posted are so broad ranged that the answers, you get 150 comments over something crazy, but post some of those wins in the group. I mean, we'd love to hear
Post
about
the wins. Yeah,
Post the wins.
Post the positive vibes, because again, we're all about survivors, right? And everybody that's involved in this, we're here to help you survive and thrive. And those who do are going to thrive through this, I guarantee you. So stick in there. If you're ever feeling like you need to throw in a towel, get in touch with one of us. We're all admins on the board.
Yeah.
Send us a private message and say, hey man, I feel like throwing in a towel. I need a pep talk. Whatever you need, we're here for you.
Well, that's what Katie just said in the Facebook group. She's taking some more time to step back and regroup, and she has great numbers even at 50%. So hopefully the people that are in this group that actually listened to what we talked about for 61 episodes raised their prices accordingly where they needed to. And you're not taking as many clients, we understand, but hopefully your profit margin and your salon income aren't suffering. You're not bleeding out completely, because it'll end. Listen, like I said, it will be over eventually, but use that time wisely, because we don't know when that'll actually happen. And I'm not we're in an organic business, so we deal with the non-vaxxers. I don't really care at this point. If you can tell me I can go out to dinner at a restaurant, you could put a microchip in me. I like, if I could sit at the bar and have a steak, and I don't care what you have to do. But robotic arm, I'm in. Listen, I'm at the back nine, Andrew. I don't have, I'm not going to be here forever. I'm okay with
I'll tell you
it.
something. It's
Bill
going to be,
Gates.
it's going to be sooner than later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be sooner than later.
Yeah. 3
People
months.
do not like you're being, people don't like this.
I would like a robotic arm though, and a microchip. I think it would be, listen, you figure like Apple Pay on my phone, it's like a pain in the ass. Now I have a mask on, I get the gloves, I got to take it out of the pocket. If it was just like, hey, scan my eyeball or put my hand in something and I could pay for my Starbucks, it would be fantastic.
So while we're on this subject, if you're feeling like we just talked about, please post up in the group, and don't be shy, because we're all here to support each other. If you're feeling like a winner right now, post that too. Or if you have a general question right now about what's going on, post it up.
Or if you have a specific question, we'll see.
Yeah. Steve is on, Statlin. He's now in here. Kicking ass and taking names, he said. So come on, don't be shy. Let's post up some questions. If anybody wants to jump on live, I'll promote you up onto the live. We can chat, not a problem.
Yeah, well, Statlin's been working like I think he works 8 days a week, which I don't know how he engineered
Yeah,
that.
he got rid of his whole staff to redo the whole gig. So he's a trip. He is definitely a trip. And that's power to the owners, right? You know what? If you're not happy with your staff and you're in a position to say, hey, I've had enough, and get rid of your staff and do it alone and rebuild, that's power also.
Yeah, it's action. And positive action. Move forward.
Yes. Any positive action is better than no action at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you know, what somebody just posted about how crazy it's to expand your business in these times. But, you know, I've known quite a few salon owners that have moved to bigger spaces because they brought more salon stylists on and things like that. But you have to think a lot of you have expanded hours. So even in our case, we went to 6 days a week, which we were only ever 5. We've expanded the hours in those 6 days. Some salon owners that I know have gone to 7 days a week and are open, you know, I mean, you can't get more than 7 days a week, but if they're in a marketplace where they can do it, and they've said, hey, I'll never go back because they've been able to expand staff, you know, even if Sundays are a shorter day or Mondays are a shorter day, who cares? It just gives more hours available to stylists that want to work them. That's the key there, that they want to work them. But if you could expand hours, you have to figure, you have to pay the same amount of rent. Your utilities and things are fluctuate based on when you're there. The rent doesn't change. So if you could be open 7 days a week and you could fill those chairs, go for it.
So I'm just trying to look at some of these comments. A lot of comments coming in. Thanks for all the props from everybody. So a couple people are talking about opening or expanding what James just said. And I will tell you, 2 of my coaching clients have picked up other salons. Some are expanding the amount of chairs in their salons to bring in stylists from other salons that are closing down. Now is, you know, people are saying, is this a time to open a salon or expand a salon? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You know, if I were back in to my salons, I'd probably gone from 3 to 5 right now or more. Now is your time to shine. If you can figure out the right one-page business plan, stick to your core values and all those things that Andrew taught, right? Now is your time.
Sorry, our pal Vanessa Rose is on, and she was mentioning that she split shifts her staff so they each work 3 days a week, which is what we do. And the staff is absolutely in love with it. So they want to keep it. And that gives your salon capacity to be open 6 days a week. And when they expand what you're actually allowed to have on staff. So we're a 6-chair salon technically. So, you know, split shifted, that's 3 stylists a day as we go through. Hey, listen, if you could get a 3-day work week and you could put 12 stylists on and keep them employed, and when somebody needs a vacation day, somebody can cover and be fully booked for that. I mean, man, you're basically doubling what you make. Who cares about the COVID money, right? The COVID money is done. If you raised your prices, the 6 months after COVID, you keep those prices where they are, and whatever you lost, you'll make back double, which is phenomenal.
The average stylist in the United States right now does not want to work the 35-hour work week that we used to do in the industry, 35, 40 hours. It's a part-time gig for most of them. So knowing that, if you own a salon, and obviously we have to do it during COVID, but afterwards, it's a business model to look at, you know, flexing your chairs each day. And it's a really effective business model. I hear salons all the time that say, yeah, I want to expand because I'm out of capacity. But yet they're running one stylist 6 hours a day, and there's so much more available. You know, so
Yeah, I mean, yeah, how you
if that's
interpret
the case,
capacity.
yeah, revisit your capacity. And then once you truly are at bursting at the seams, expand or open another place, and make sure your place that you open is at least 10 miles away from your existing place, so you're not poaching clients. You know, there's some simple business strategies to revisit right now, but if you want to expand, now is the time to expand, because there are a lot of owners who were doing what we taught on here a while ago, not living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of owners do that, and they're still doing it. They're counting their payroll on Friday, wondering if they're going to make payroll because they don't have a proper business plan in place, and they'll go under. They'll go under because they haven't planned. They haven't watched the BBR. And if you've planned though and learned these things, then you know you have a successful salon that you can replicate somewhere else.
Well, you have to figure, right, that capacity wise, regardless of what your state says and what COVID says, you technically going to be open 24 hours a day, right? So you pay for the building you're in, and you pay the rent for your building, and whether you have parking or not, or, you know, besides curfew and oddities, you could, if you had clients that would sit in your chair and you were in one chair, 200 square foot salon, and you could work 24 hours a day, you could work 24 hours a day. So instead of moving into a bigger location, sometimes it's better to work that capacity out to the best of your ability and give your staff a break. You know, a 30-hour work week or a 28-hour work week is great for flexibility for them. Make sure their pricing is where it needs to be so that they make the money they need to and the salon does. And you basically double your staff in the same location without really increasing expenses that aren't already covered. I mean, utilities, who cares? I mean, they are what they are. But reality of it is you don't really increase too much to have, you know, you're not taking on a second rent with a second set of utilities and a second set of front desk people and a second set of management. I mean, you could really work your location if it's decent to, I mean, man, you could
Well,
really.
I'll tell you about location. It's a story. The guy, may he rest in peace, had a 24-hour salon, 7 days a week here in New York City. And I met him because he happened to live in the building that I was living in. And he was a well-known hairdresser in the community. So I said, so Larry, I don't understand how how do you do it? He said, you got to know your customer. He said, I have a salon down at 42nd Street, which at the time wasn't like Walt Disney World. It was a little seedy. And he said, my clients are working girls. They're working professionals. And they come in 2, 3, 4 times a night in between their clients, and we service them. Hey, he knew his clientele, and he was open at the right time, 24 hours.
Yeah, listen, now is the time, like we saw in that seminar you and I went to, Andrew, from the credit card company. They said, you know what? The best time to service clients is when they're off of work. Most clients right now are stuck in their houses or working 9 to 5. So what hours does that leave them? It leaves them after 5 o'clock at night. You know, and most salons shut down by 8 o'clock. So that's 3 solid hours of service time. Maybe we need to open later, you know, look at all those things.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, that just,
You know,
yeah.
be open when clients want to play.
That is, you know, we're thinking in some ways, thank you, Derek, because there are more people working at home now than ever before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and I don't know how it works with corporations, if you have to sit by your desk and you can't go out, and, you know, do they chain you to your chair? I don't think so. I think people have a lot more flexibility than they did before. You had to be in an office. You know, maybe we take advantage of that somehow through our communications.
Mm-hmm.
We really are available for you. Let's make it easy for you. Sneak out of the house.
You see, prior to COVID, you saw these places called 24-hour key gyms, right? You have a key, you go to the gym whenever you want. I mean, you know, obviously we have to have a service provider there, but, you know, going back to your analogy, 24 hours a day, The reason those gyms are popular right now is because people are working during the day. They don't have time to get their hair cut. So you have to figure out the times when they're not working to get their hair cut or colored. And it's important that everybody keeps that in mind when they're building their schedules instead of the typical 9 to 5. Unless you're in Sally's curl up and dye salon, right? Where you're doing roller sets still. You know, and I'm just being honest. And you got the older clientele that's sitting under the dryer with the rollers in their hair. But that's a business model, but that isn't the majority of salons. The majority of salons today live on cuts and color, and those cuts and color have to be performed when the clients are available, and the clients are available when they're not working.
Well, and I think the important thing too about scrubbing your data, right? You had all this time to get your client list and do your emails. Why is it bad that if you know what your clients are open to? You know, we have, you know, we use our tags in Salon Ninja. So I know my afternoon mom clients that, you know, as long as it's between 10 and 3 o'clock or 10 and 1 o'clock, they can come in for any service at any time. And they're completely flexible during the week when school is in session, by the way. This is after COVID is done, everybody. We don't know what school looks like next in September, but you know, we have plenty of clients that are super flexible like that, as long as it's not, and matter of fact, they don't want the weekends. So they're my best clients because they're flexible during the week. If we were open Mondays, they'll take Mondays, they'll take Fridays, doesn't matter. And they don't want to clog up the weekends where everybody's in or the evenings, which is great. But if you know that kind of stuff about your clientele, you can modify from that. If you're in this hub of town, in a great restaurant town, and you could do Friday blowouts after work because everybody's going to dinner, then rock it. Like, that's what you should do. You know, make sure you're charging accordingly, but do that. We're on the outskirts. That's not our model, but you know, work with what you have, but know the data, right? Know what's going to work. Just don't fly by night.
Know your client inside and out. And you better have a software that can help you with that. Obviously, shameless plug, Salon Ninja can help you with that. But if you're using something else, know your client. You know, there are salons out there that actually charge a premium for certain times of the day or certain days of the week. If you're that busy, that might be a business model you look at. And then you push people who are flexible to those hours in the middle of the week for the standard pricing. You know, so be smart. Be a smart business owner now. You're already a survivor. So now it's time to be a smart business owner also.
Also, look at your mix of clientele. I'm just, you know, Missy here said, was it Missy, about we've seen barbershops. Barbershops, I would bet, are doing pretty darn well. Doing pretty darn well. Why not have more men's services? Why not set up a membership for guys? Why not? Why not? You can do it. Why not take a look at the retail? Remember way back when we talked about the various segments and what people buy, and how younger guys were more adventuresome when it came to retail? Remember that? And where they shopped, sure, they're online, but you can be online too. You can have your own system, right? Salon Interactive. How many of you have taken that up? How many of you are doing it? How many of you have taken the chance of bringing in certain lines that are kind of different and more advanced?
Well, and that's where you look at, so a few of our friends that have been on, right? Philip Wilson has a really nice condensed line, does an awesome haircut. He's got training for your staff. If you're, especially with the staff with time now, you can bring on a small line like that's powerful. You take Jackie Young, who's been on a few times, and she does the packages. So not only does she say, hey, we're going to take you from, you know, level 1 black hair to platinum blonde, but we're going to make sure we give you the styling products and shampoos to support that new look for you. And we're going to charge you for them. We're just going to add it into the price. So when it says, oh my God, this package it's like, you know, let's make a deal. Behind door number 1 is to be blonde. It's only $500, but includes shampoo, conditioner, and the styling product and a haircut, you know, and there's a lot of creative things that you can do for your service menu. And like Andrew said, with the guys coming in and things like that, listen, look around your town, what's working. I mean, we have 22 hair salons in 2 square miles where we are, and 7 of them are closed. Right.
Whoa, that's
7 out of 22.
30%. That's what we predicted at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah,
So
we
30%.
said,
And
that, and then we said upwards 40%. I think when we're all said and done, I think 40% is the number we're looking at.
And
of
they
salon
vary.
closures.
Listen, they vary in the type of salons that they are, but the corner barbershop that's there, there's a bunch of barbershops because barbershops have gotten really popular. He's got partitions. He's got a girl at the desk that's taking text messages. He's got an app. Like, he's modernized, and he's got a line around the building, and they're all socially distanced 6 feet apart. The other barbershop that's a half mile away, the guy's outside smoking cigarettes with his mask down around his chin all day long because he's got nobody. But the barbershop that did a little bit of planning that said, hey, he already had the technology in place, and he said, hey, this is going to be a thing. His clients feel safe. His clients, it's easy breezy for him, and he's got a line around the building. He's never had a line around the building before. I'm sure his numbers were good. I'm sure he's a good barber, but never a line. So that's got to tell you something that, protocols, whether they're for health purposes or business purposes, if there is a mission, people will understand it, and you will attract the right clientele that will follow what your mission is. Know your numbers, know your mission, have your business plan. Who cares if it's coronavirus, if it's
Take action.
Pretty sure Andrew's one-page business plan included what's your mission statement, right? And if you don't have a clear mission statement, a message of who you are and how you're going to operate, that should be a poster size thing on your walls for you and your stylist that says this is who we are and this is what we do.
Yeah, we have to figure that, so the mini hurricane that came through, there was a lot of tornadoes. There were some oddities that happened where we are. And, we weren't even in the mindset, right? So normally if there's a snowstorm and we can track it and we have a few days, we've always been inclined to say, hey, we heard it could be bad Thursday. Let's just close. Let's move those clients, even if it's not bad, to not deal with the aftermath of what if it is bad. While I have the space, let's get them out. Let's make it easy. And if it winds up being an inch of snow, hey, we get a day off and we laugh about it. And who cares? Because the fact of it was bad, it would be horrible. So we didn't close. And all of a sudden 2 o'clock came and there's power lines and crazy shit happening. Like King Kong was running down Main Street. And I'm like, I would have just closed if I wasn't dealing with the coronavirus. I would have just said, hey, we heard Hurricane Isaias.
Yeah.
Isaias.
Right.
It doesn't matter. There's already a new one coming. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
No offense if that's your name. I'll never be able to pronounce it even if I like you. But you look at the planning aspect of what you're working on as the salon owners, and whether it's COVID-19, COVID-21, COVID-30, this is not going to be the first time that you're going to deal with a hurricane, a snowstorm, a virus, a something. Just have your plan. Hopefully the people that are on this call now, hopefully you had a little bit of reserve cash. There may not be a PPP loan next time to recover you. So make sure that you're profitable. Make sure that use this as your warning shot to say, hey, if my business wasn't so great before, man, I better get it together now. And I better floss twice a day and make sure that, look at those types of things and say, hey, I got to really plan.
Yeah. Good point, James.
Yeah, just going back to the chat. Hey, Gail, great. I'm so happy you feel like a better leader now, but always need a pep talk. We're here for that. Things are tough all over, especially in a small town. Absolutely. Absolutely. Some people say they've lost some clients due to the price increases. Yeah, you may, but overall, you're going to make more money. And if you treat them well, they'll send other people. Doesn't mean you're not going to get referrals, and ask for the referrals. Have a referral.
Not everybody can afford the Ritz-Carlton, right? But yet the Ritz-Carlton is busy because they have a good system. So that's the analogy. Divorce the bad clients, make room for the good clients.
No, that's great. Hey, listen, guys, we're gonna post up some September schedule info. We have some good speakers that want to come back. Our good friend Gino, Jay Williams. We're trying to make September more of a positive. And October, if football season doesn't start, every Monday night after the BBR, we're going to replay a winning game of we'll do a lottery. So whoever your team is, send a message in, and we're going to play a classic game on Facebook Live afterwards, so we can all pretend that football actually started this year.
So with that, anybody have any last minute questions before we kick off for the evening? James, thank you for that.
Thank you, James.
Yeah, we need a little something.
Yeah. Guys, post up your comments if you have any comments or questions before we sign off for the evening.
I think everybody's good. A little Gino love. Cheryl's happy to see everybody. Oscar obviously is on with us again. Listen, I think it's good. I'm glad for the wins. But guys, go back in the group and post some of those wins. Be specific on them. We'd love to know. I'm sure the other salon owners that are in the group would love to know about them. Maybe they have questions. I mean, hopefully there's some things that you implemented that were like a eureka moment that you were like, wow, I never thought of that. And that worked out great, because even though some of you are winning, there's still some things that are missing and missing ingredients, but let us know. And send Andrew an email. He just posted his email in Zoom. Don't text him because don't text him.
Andrew's the new Iva. We're going to get him a sign.
No, that was for Denise. She's doing a lot of right things, and she says she doesn't know where to start. Send me an email, Denise.
Perfect. Thanks everybody for showing up tonight. Next Monday we'll be on for BBR 60. What, James? Come on.
67. I don't know. We have to iron this out because the argument will be there forever.
We'll see you all next Monday night. It was great having everybody on. Keep your chins up. Stay strong. Push through this nonsense. Remember, improvise, adapt, and overcome. We'll talk to you next Monday, guys.
Got it. Good night, guys. Good night, Andrew. Good night, Derek.
Night.
Good night, James. Good night, Andrew.